All right, let's get going, guys. One,
Right.
2, 3, go. 4.
What
Clap.
is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Serie A audio experience with IFTV. This time, we're locked in quarantine, but we're all, I think, going a little bit crazy inside our house. So, of course, we have Antonio and we got Peter who join in on a Zoom call. Antonio, first off, how you doing? Everybody's worried about you.
Everybody's worried. I am worried about myself. Forget about everybody else been worrying about me. My son worried me, locked me up. He took my keys away from my drawers. He said, "You're not going anywhere." He checks me even when I have to go to the bathroom. I mean, what the hell is going on with this fucking thing? Don't make me say something nasty, man.
Are you hanging in there all right?
I will do anything to get the hell out of here, man.
Antonio, why don't you start working on like some of these skits that you used to do? Remember the Cassano, Wanda? You have a lot of time on your hands. You can make some new one-man show.
Oh, Pete. First of all, I'm doing my taxes right now. You will not believe the piles of papers that I have with me. So this is a nice break for me to break away from that shit. And I don't know. I've been checking out the latest Wanda's videos on the Corriere. And,
How are they?
It's entertaining, to be honest with you. And I've been hearing a lot of rumors that Icardi might be coming to AC Milan, Pete. You might like that too.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
You're reading
He can
some
sit on the bench
bullshit
for Milan also. He'll get that number 9 and
No, actually,
fall right back down.
the 9 is
The
going to be
curse.
fighting with Milik. Apparently, Milik might be interested on coming over. I don't know why.
So
Huh?
for everybody that doesn't know, Peter also, Peter, how you been doing in locked in your quarantine over there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to stay home as much as possible. Haven't really gone out besides grocery shopping. I'm trying to work from home. And so, I mean, I'm lucky enough that I can work from home. My computer, my phone, and type away, kind of do some research, and then that's it, really.
I see
It
you
just
cooking.
sucks. Oh, yeah, I've been cooking a lot. I made pizza. I made my nonna spinach rolls. Came out really good. Octopus. We have some extra time on our hands, so might as well.
Oh, nice.
Octopus.
Yeah.
Anto, you name it. If you tell me something, I'll cook it for you.
Oh, God.
But I'll do a
cook it for me?
curbside delivery.
I don't trust you. You are an Inter fan. You can poison me.
Nah, I wouldn't
take
poison.
anything from an Inter fan.
I wouldn't poison you.
Hey, I'm about to introduce you to my son, all of you guys. So, the people that get to see who my son is. Come here, Nico. Come here. Just say hi.
Let's
Just say
go,
something.
Nico.
Nico, what's up?
Sorry.
What's up, guys?
Without this guy, we would not be having this video call right now. So shout out to Nico for setting this.
You know what? I gotta tell you something. Even I made a tiny little donation to someone else, and I've been on and off messaging with Joe Barone. He's very pleased that we're talking about this thing here right now, and I gotta tell you, I mean, we are all in this all together because this is you might see a lot of a lot of us. Let's hope it's not one of us, but some of us or our family might not be there in the next few months. So I know a few people that they got very close to lose their life. So let's take it. Let's take as much as we can in, and then let's hope for the best. What do you think, Pete?
No, I agree. I mean, first off, the initiative was amazing. I think to be able to raise $13,000 it speaks words for IFTV, for Marco and Mike's work, and also the ability, to cultivate a community, because that's what we kind of say. IFTV is more than just calcio. Our fans are probably one of the greatest fans that exist, and they understand what it means to help each other out. And I think that's what it comes down to. When we're able to give and we're able to help when another person's struggling, it's so important. And, like you said, the whole world right now is pretty much struggling with this situation at hand. And, we're in New York, and New York is the epicenter of the coronavirus here in the US. And as you said, I know some people that their parents are, in the hospital right now, and it's scary. You have hospitals where no one's allowed in. So, you have people that are dying alone. Not to bring up a bad note, but It's very serious.
Hey, since we are live, I have a lot of friends. And actually, I have my daughter. You probably you know Loretta, right? All of you know Loretta. So she's on the front line. My daughter, she's my hero, to be honest with you. And she is careless. She just does. She's not afraid of anything. She just jumps in. She does everything. So maybe if she watches this podcast, I said, "Hey, Loretta, we all love you." Number one. Number two, you just send our love to all the Methodist hospital over there in Brooklyn. It's we're supporting you all the way. And even my son, he's got a couple of very good friends that they grew up together, Neil and Joe. And they're still a Methodist too, and they are again on the front line, just fighting this, like everybody else, trying to, ward off all of this nasty virus. So,
you know how in Europe they all go on their balconies and they clap for the workers. Right. Let's do an IFTV one. Let's do a clap for your daughter and for all the people that are healthcare workers.
Okay, on my tree. Oh, like that. Okay.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
For all the doctors over there and Methodist and all the New York hospital guys. Great job. Great job.
So like I was saying before, we use this more as a distraction, this podcast, right? It's a time where you could get away a little bit and forget about some of the problems that are happening in life. I know for me, that's been one of the hardest things, is not having football there, where it could take you away from the problems that you have in your life and all these things that occur, which is a great escapism. And I've also seen a lot of people who have messaged us saying, we used to watch the podcast to get away from our life and be able to laugh and mess around a little bit. So while, like we said, it's an important note, I also want to talk a little bit to get our minds off of it, so that I want to go back to the days that we used to scream at each other and just argue about who's better and all this stuff. So if we could do that for a little bit, I think it would be important. And I'm reading questions because, again, we're doing this because so many people asked us to. So thank you again, Antonio and Peter, for coming on the Zoom, because you didn't have to. But we have a really a good one to start it off.
What do you mean you didn't have to? Without us, what are you gonna do? Who you think? You're gonna rely on Mike? Come on.
Hey, listen. Today,
Flipper is gonna flip on you. Be careful.
This week we had Cannavaro on Skype and we had Cutrone on Skype.
But we don't need you over here.
But now I didn't say that. I was gonna say now we have the best ones on Skype.
Wow. Hey, by the way, Cannavaro. Listen, Cannavaro, Cutrone, Nesta. Who else over there? Del Piero. What else? Grosso. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, hey, cool. By the way, we are working on getting Mustafi on to do a little interview with IFTV. So let's see if it works out. Frank, if you're listening to the podcast over there, we want Mustafi. Okay, sending this video. Hey, Mustafi, we know who you are. We love you. We know how you play. We want you to come to play for AC Milan. Okay, Mustafi. All
right. So
who's gonna pay for him?
Oh, don't worry. We'll take care of that.
Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton's gonna pay.
Okay, go ahead. What questions?
I got a first question, and I'll bring this up because since it's relevant, it's on the topic. This week, Agnelli said that if the season goes out, he doesn't want, if the season gets canceled right now and they award the Scudetto and they award all the stuff, he said that Juventus do not want to be awarded the Scudetto. So the question was from I don't know what his name was, but he said, Antonio, what do you think about Agnelli not wanting to accept the Scudetto if Serie A doesn't start again?
Well, I think it's a noble thing to do, number one. Number two, he knows that he cannot really have the Scudetto awarded to him because the Campionato is not really finished. And number three, it's the distance between the first and the third place. It's like a handful of points. So if it was I don't know, 20 points difference, then you say, hey, this is technically almost impossible for anybody to win. So for him to be claiming that the Scudetto should be awarded to Juventus will be a disgrace. So I think he took himself out of the contention, and he said the right thing. He did the only thing that he had to do. I
agree with you, Anto, because I saw a couple people comparing it to England and the Premier League, which to me it's not comparable because, like you said, Liverpool's up like 20, 30 points. For me, if they end England, they're 2 wins away. Liverpool's 2 wins away. It makes sense. For a league like Serie A, where Juventus, Lazio, and Inter are so close, there's no way that a Scudetto could.
And I will throw in Atalanta too.
Okay, we throw in Atalanta too.
You know why, right?
Why? Because
Gasperini.
Because of Gasperini, because of Riccardo, because of my friend Mirko. We have a lot of friends in Bergamo. So we got a lot of friends. So, and we're pulling for Bergamo. You know, Bergamo is one of the cities that has got some of the highest number of infected and people in trouble, you know, hospital here. And plus the contagion over there is like a nightmare, a real nightmare. I just sometimes I don't even want to put the news on anymore because it makes me sick just looking at it or listening at it. So
Anto, we have another question for you.
Yeah.
I'll give you one last question before we get everybody else's. Ali said, Anto, is your son an AC Milan fan just like you?
well,
Uh-oh.
my son, he really doesn't care. He's one of those you know, weird kids that they go to college, they watch basketball, they are into video game, they listen to rap like you guys, a bunch of. I mean, he's not into. He used to be a very decent player when he was a young kid. Then he fractured his wrist twice on the same spot, and he took himself out of contention. So my daughter is more of a soccer habit. And
Wait, say who she likes.
Del Piero, of course. But anyway, but she likes Maldini too. So
There we go.
you
She
know.
makes up for it.
Wait, let's see your body scarf in the back, by the way.
Listen to me. My wife likes AC Milan, by the way.
Yeah?
Nice.
All right, there we go. You got one.
You know why she likes it? Because she's got no choice. If she doesn't like it, I don't bring my money home anymore.
We got a good question right here from Tony Fabri. He said, if you could play at a Serie A club solely based on the city, where would you go and why? So Pete, where would you go? What city?
Come on. It's easy. I would go to Milan and play for Inter. I mean, I love Milano as a city. No? Antonio, where would you go?
I don't know. Look, my wife, she's fixing my body flag. Well, I can tell you one thing.
Okay.
First city, of course, is Milan, but my city is Bari over here, and Bari has one of the most beautiful stadiums. It's called the San Nicola, and it's been decided by one of the most famous architects in the world. That his name is, you know, don't make me say it, Renzo Piano. He's the same guy that designed the Centre Pompidou in France, and he's got millions, hundreds of thousands of spectacular buildings still standing. Even the New York Times building over there, across the street from the Port Authority, that's him. So whether you remember where that crazy guy, he went all the way to, you know, he claimed he just started from the very bottom. He went all the way to the top, and then he got arrested for climbing the building. So that building is a New York Times. The New York Times building is Renzo Piano.
Wow.
So
Mike?
Not
I've been asked this before. I think I probably do.
Olympiacos.
No, I probably do for Serie A. I'd probably do Fiorentina
Hmm.
or Milan. Because me and Marco actually
gotta choose
studied.
one. You
studied
gotta
in
choose
Milano.
one.
It was so nice. Fiorentina is such a nice city too. Verona's also nice. Man.
You got to choose one.
I'll probably pick.
You see a flipper. When somebody flips, he's got trouble. You know, it's all depends where he lands, Marco. He has to land on the, you know, whatever the
As long as he lands on his feet, that's what counts.
Right.
Exactly. I'll change it up. I'll pick Fiorentina.
Firenze. Okay.
Well, I was gonna say I was thinking Florence too, but I'll pick something different. I'll say Venice. I stayed in Venice for a little while, and I always got the feeling that there's a lot more to explore, and I felt like living there would be like living in like a painting or a dream. Anto, you lived in Venice, so tell me.
For almost 5 years. So I gotta tell you something. Venice, you can learn about Venice if you stay over there 1 year. You will know every square inch of Venice. Believe me. So from time to time, I find myself watching some old movies about Venice. I actually recognize some of the merchants over there. Actually, talking about merchants, you guys, if you have time, you should be watching the movie The Merchants of Venice. It's a Shakespeare made movie. I mean, based on a Shakespeare book.
I read the
think
book.
it's Al Pacino, the main character over there. So you should be watching that. Okay.
Was it on Netflix?
I'm not sure. It could be on Netflix, but it's The Merchants of Venice. It's an unbelievable movie.
I think I read the book.
Yeah, I read the
I think
book
we had to
too.
read it for
Yeah,
school.
we were forced to read I don't remember.
Oh, you were forced to read, Mike. Good for you.
At least he can read.
You know, when I was young, I was forced to read the Odyssey, Mike,
Oh,
about all
Odyssey?
that Greek mythology.
Yeah, I didn't read that. I didn't read that.
So I know all the gods and the goddess of the Greece.
There we go.
Okay?
That's why you're so smart.
Oh, thanks. Mike.
We got another question from Tony. We'll
Uh-huh.
start off with no, I can't start off with Antonio for this one. It's too easy. We'll start off with Peter with this one. Tony says, who was better in your opinion, Pippo Inzaghi or Cassano?
When we say better, we have to define better. Is it based
Okay,
on
I'll
technical
define it.
skill
I'll
or
define
based
it
on
for you.
his career?
I'll define it for you. If you're making a team and you can only put one in the team, who do you choose?
I pick Cassano. I gotta go with Antonio because Cassano's that playmaker. I mean, even though he's crazy, the stuff that he was able to do was unlike many others. I mean, he was right there with Totti, Del Piero as far as talent.
Palleggiatore, that's it, Pete, right?
Yeah. Inzaghi, listen, I don't want to take anything away from Inzaghi. The guy is a goal scorer. He's there when he has to be. He was always on the line of the offside, and during the time when he played, the offside rule was a little harsh. Whereas if he was offside, they would call it off right away. I mean, I think he would have at least another 50 goals if he played now,
Easy.
because of the offside rules and how it's changed. But still, if I have to pick, I gotta pick Cassano, and he's an Inter fan too. Just you know.
That's
Anto?
good. That's
Anto, do we even have to ask you?
Oh, well, don't even ask. Actually, you know what? Recently, I was watching this survey on the best 100 players. You know what? Cassano was not even listed over there. That means those people that they were asked to make that list, they're a bunch of idiots. So Totti, I think, was number 33, 34. Pirlo, number 40 or change. I mean, except for Maradona, Del Piero. Not even Del Piero was on the top 20 or 30, if I'm not mistaken. Not even Baggio. Imagine this. He was on the Gazzetta dello Sport. That was maybe a week ago. And if you look at it, there was someone just compiling a list of the best 100 players on the history of the game. And, I would put Cassano on the top over there. And then I would put Maradona and then all the rest. But
Anto, why don't you make your own list and we'll publish it?
I think I'm going to do that.
We could write it.
Yeah.
We could post it online for you.
That's it. You know what? Now you get me something to do.
I'm sure people can have the same same predictions as you too for the list and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see how many people put like Cassano number one. That'll be interesting.
Okay, Mike. You'll be surprised, Mike.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna go a different route than you guys. I'm gonna say Inzaghi. If I had to take one in a team. Also slightly because Antonio's here, and I want to be a little bit different since everybody picked Cassano. But also because I think getting a pure natural finisher, a guy that could breathe the game, he just sniffed goals. He would see where the ball was going before anybody else. And I personally, like when I was growing up, I liked to play as a number 9. And I really admired Inzaghi for the way that he always knew exactly where to be. He knew when the ball was going to bounce, off the post, and he was going to be there to tap it in. And I think when you have a guy like that, who at any moment in a match, at any flip of a switch, he could put the ball in the back of the net, I think it brings a lot of confidence to the rest of your team.
Marco, I think you might be a little too young to probably remember, but Inzaghi used to play for Juventus, used to be a big scorer for Juventus. And then all of a sudden, Del Piero showed up on the scene, and the Juventus had to make the hard choice to either keep one or let the other one go.
Well,
and
I would choose Del Piero still, but...
And guess what happened? Inzaghi came to AC Milan, and he won so many Champions League that he would have never won with Juventus. How the hell?
I like that, but listen, you didn't even pick your own guy that you just made an argument for. You chose the guy that never won anything.
There is no way to pick. Cassano is number 1.
Wow.
Okay, fair enough. You want me to get another? Do you want me to move on to another question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Who do you think is the best Serie A duo of this past season?
Of the past season? Oh, let me guess. Peter is going to say Lautaro and what's his name over there, Lukaku. Well, I got to tell you something. I don't agree with that. I will say Milinkovic-Savic and Luis Alberto.
That's fair.
That's really good.
Why?
I was gonna say based off the stats, I would say Luis Alberto and Immobile.
Immobile.
Well, I don't look at how many goals they score. To me, it's what they're capable to do and what kind of a difference maker are for their team. That's what I look at it. Inzaghi is a finisher. I mean, Inzaghi, Immobile is a finisher. Sometimes he's lucky. That guy, even when he kicks the ball outside, the ball somehow finds the way to get inside of the net. But Luis Alberto and Savic, those are unbelievable. And you know what? I'm going to add for Atalanta, it will be Ilicic and the Papu Gomez. How the hell are you like that?
I like that.
That's good.
Pete.
So contrary to what you think, Antonio, Lukaku, Lautaro, halfway into the season, I would have picked them, but they have gone a little cold as far as a duo is concerned. I think I'm gonna have to go with Dybala, Ronaldo as a duo, you know, because look how many goals Ronaldo was able to score. He tied the record did he break the record?
No, he tied it.
He tied it.
Tied
Tied
it,
Batistuta's record for most goals. Everybody was on his case in the beginning. Oh, he's not scoring anymore, or he's too old. And then we see also Dybala, the guy coming off the bench when he starts, whatever role he's been asked to perform in, he's been able to meet Sarri's expectations. I know we might get upset and say, how the hell is Dybala on the bench when he can come on and score these fantastic goals? But, tactically, and I guess to Sarri's credit, I know you don't like to credit him as much as maybe you should, he's been able to understand the game and change the game with his substitutions. And Dybala has been able to score. He scored a fantastic goal versus Inter, unfortunately. And I have to say Dybala and Cristiano Ronaldo right now.
Hey, listen, Pete, I think this quarantine is putting the chemicals in your brain all together correctly.
I think I'm sick right now. That's the problem. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, damn. You know what? Stay away, Pete. Don't bleed on the camera, Pete.
No, I think I just need more oxygen. I'm stuck in the house, so there's not enough oxygen. So your oxygen levels are low. You kind of think a little messed up. So.
Nah. You just stay in and you keep it. Mike, who's your duo?
Probably Papu and Ilicic.
That's fair.
They've been beasts. They couldn't stop scoring. They're doing it Champions League, Serie A, you name it. So
Guys, how much does it suck I'll name 3 different people and teams. How much does it suck for Lazio, who are having the best season they've ever had? How much does it suck for Immobile, who's having the best season he's ever had? And how much does it suck for Atalanta for all this to go down the year that all 3 of these things just magically did amazing?
Well, you know what? I'm against the just finishing up the seasons like that. Somehow you're gonna have to find a way to finish. You know, whether it's gonna be postponed or just moved up or whatever the case might be. This has to be a sign. We cannot let this virus dictate what we do with our life. This goddamn virus. Don't get me started because I might just go off. I might just say what you don't want to hear about it.
But Antonio, the problem is what happened and what's happening right now is crazy, and we don't want it to dictate our lives. But unfortunately, people are dying, so we have to be cautious.
Yeah, but
we have to make sure.
Pete, what I meant to say is, our life is going to go on at some point, but let's own us when this whole thing. Of course, we have all the people that they dying on the first place on our life. But we're not going to just this. We're not going to let this virus over our life for everything that we do and we say.
No, for sure. But I think for soccer, yes, we want to be able to finish off these seasons, whether it be in July or August. But then you have to also pay attention and try to make sure it works. And the unfortunate thing is there is no timeline. We don't know when things are gonna not necessarily go back to normal, because I don't think they're gonna be back to normal. If the season resumes, it's gonna be with an empty stadium. You know, the game is gonna be played with no one in the field. So you're.
Go ahead.
So I'm just saying that I don't think that it's suspended or canceled altogether, like the Wimbledon. I don't know if you saw today, the Wimbledon was canceled altogether. But right now it's on hold. It's suspended indefinitely until they can figure out, okay, in a month's time, in 2 months' time, we can start practicing and training and then have the season start soon after. But before that, I mean, everything is upside down. You know, you have salaries to pay. You have players that are going to be out of contract in June. Does FIFA now change that to the end of the season, which will be August or September? Do you start the new season now right away in September? Do you start in October? Do you take away maybe a cup game? So maybe next year there'll be no Coppa Italia edition. Do you have something like that? You have to figure out what's going to be able to work, because then you have the Euros coming up. And the problem is, it's all about this, where there's going to be a lot of money that's going to be left on the table. They're talking about TV deals not going to be at what they used to be because of what literally just happened now. And there's going to be problems where we're not going to know what's the next step or how we're going to be able to solve anything. You're going to have, the Euros. That's a big moneymaker for a lot of these federations, for FIFA, and it has to be played. So you have the seasons that have to be played. You have these cup games. You have the Champions League that we still have to figure out what's going on. So, I mean, there's so many ifs, buts, and everybody's got their 2 cents, and everybody has an opinion. You have the people that are, let's say, like at the bottom of a Serie A table, say, oh, let's just leave it like that, and next year, and then we'll stay in Serie A. But then you have teams like Benevento who's having an amazing season in Serie B. They deserve to go up.
Okay.
So, it's just such a complicated situation.
My team, Bari, you see on the background, Bari?
Yes.
My team is coming up on Serie B. So, all right.
Exactly.
So I got to tell you something, Pete. Let me rephrase what I just said. Maybe so everybody can understand. On a scale of 1 to 10, the life even one person lost, it's number 1 for me. I'd rather the soccer to be eliminated, but to keep that one person alive. Okay, soccer will be number 10. But moving forward, what I was saying is, look what we did. We let them win. I mean, this virus right now, we are under the impression that this thing is winning us. But this is the time that we have to fight a little harder to say, hey, no matter what, when this whole thing is going to be over, we're going to come back with a vengeance. Okay, but right now, soccer is last. The life of even one person is number 1. And all the shout out that we did before to all the medical staff that they are on the front line in Italy, in Spain, in France, in England, in Germany, everywhere. So those people are number 1 on the list, because those are the people fighting on the front line. We are here comfortably. We are frustrated, sitting behind the tables over here, just talking about what's going on. But soccer is not number 1 priority right now. And actually, all our listeners, they know, because, when it's time to talk about soccer, we talk about soccer. But when it's time to be serious about what's going on with the life of our followers, their parents, their grandparents, their relatives, their uncles, their aunts, to their spouses that might be working, or the people that someone probably unfortunately has someone sick right now or dying right now. I mean, I can't even say in better words. I mean, soccer is not the number 1 priority. Actually, it's not even number 10 right now. So, but we here trying to entertain our followers, and we just hope that this podcast is going to keep the mind off a little bit the major trouble that we're going through.
Agreed. Antonio, you said it well. You said it really well. And I agree. So continuing on that path of allowing people to distract themselves, we got a really good question that I think I've been looking at it. So I have somebody in mind, and I'll let you guys think. Maria asked, which player do you think should have won a Ballon d'Or that did not win a Ballon d'Or? And now, actually, as I say that, as it comes out of my mouth, I already know Antonio's got his name.
Yeah.
So I'll give you guys a second, though. For my personal opinion, I'm going with the kind of obvious one that everybody talks about, but I think Buffon. I think as a goalkeeper, it would be almost impossible to be able. And there's many.
Maldini and Baresi, they should have won 1 each.
Okay, Antonio cut me off. You could say what is it? Who is it?
Maldini and Baresi.
Who's one? If you can only give one to them.
I will say Baresi.
Wow.
Pete?
I mean, for me, Sneijder, 2010, the Wesley Sneijder.
I agree with that.
He won the treble, Serie A, Coppa Italia, Champions League. He brought Holland to the final in the World Cup 2010. He was easily one of the better players in the tournament for all 3 competitions, and he that year deserved to win it. Barcelona didn't have a good year. Iniesta won it because of the goal he scored in the World Cup. Nothing to take away from him. That's the ultimate trophy, the World Cup trophy. But for what Snyder was able to do and where he reached that year, it was just he deserved it.
I agree with you, Pete. And I remember during that Ballon d'Or ceremony, we kind of knew that Schneider was not going to get it. It always felt like I thought Messi got it, but I guess you're saying Iniesta got it that year?
Yeah.
I think it was Iniesta.
It was?
If I'm not
I'll search
mistaken.
in the
If you want
meantime.
to check, yeah.
But I've never been more convinced that a player should have won the Ballon d'Or than that year. Schneider was absolutely unreal. He
wasn't even on the podium.
It was unbelievable what I watched Schneider do with Inter and that treble team. He was literally the maestro of everything, and that's a good one. That's a very good one because that was one that I was thinking of.
Hey, Marco, tell Maria that there should be a Ballon d'Or for the career. And that one, my number one pick, you know it is. I mean, don't make me say it again. It's Cassano. The guy is one of the few in the world that I wound up playing for AC Milan, Inter Milan.
No, it was Messi that won. It was Messi.
Messi won it?
That makes it even more ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because Messi, who didn't win a World Cup, Schneider was in second and Xavi was in third, and Schneider was in fourth.
To me, I saw Xavi playing. I think Xavi I cannot really compare him with Iniesta because Iniesta played a little bit in front of him, but Xavi was the Pirlo of the Barcelona.
Yeah, but not in 2010. There was no Barcelona for the way that they got kicked out by Inter. The Barcelona players should not have won that. They should have had to do something even more insane to have won that Ballon d'Or.
That's pretty crazy. I mean, I never watched Baresi or Maldini or even Snyder play, but I've always heard about Snyder, how Snyder got robbed and he should have won. Like, that's one of the things that always stuck with me. It was like, when Inter won that triplete, Snyder 100% should have won it. But for me, from my experience, from what I saw, I'd probably have to go with Buffon, only because I've seen his performances and how extraordinary of a goalkeeper he is. And yeah, it's a shame that he hasn't won one.
Well, we asked Cannavaro too when he won in 2006. I loved the confidence that Cannavaro had when he said the answer, where he was like, "I was unbelievable," and he thinks that he won the Ballon d'Or in the match against Germany. Which, if you go watch that match again, that should be studied in the history books for any kid that's watching that wants to become a defender. Go watch Cannavaro versus Germany 2006 highlights. He was winning headers against guys that were double his size.
And he's a center back, and he's a short center back.
But he spoke about the importance of, as a defender, you're having to do that even extra. You have to do something insane because you're going against guys like Messi and Ronaldo.
He was saying usually strikers win it, but being a defender to win, like how Marco said, you have to do the extra. That's why it's so hard for someone else other than a striker to win it.
Mike, ask Cannavaro about Baresi. He will tell you that Baresi was probably one of the best ever. Sure. You know, back then, Baresi was playing the libero. Now, Cannavaro, when he played in the Italian national team, the libero position was already gone.
Extinct.
The formation did not contemplate to have the libero on the backside of the defense, but you know, it was probably playing on the system.
It's just for English. It's sweeper position. Libero is a sweeper position.
Okay, so Baresi he was the one. He was the one that everybody wished to emulate. That guy was unbelievable. He was like a machine, a spectacular machine, and never losing a bit. You know, if Saki taught them how to move up and down the field, and how you're gonna see the perfection, the level of perfection of executing the offside, it was just second to no one. No one will ever watch an AC Milan game without just counting at least 30 times. You know, the offensive player being put on offside and just being ridiculed.
Anto, real quick question for myself. I asked this because it's Saki's birthday today, and I was explaining to Mike. Mike was saying how long he coached for, and I just know the stories that Saki didn't coach very long. I think my dad told me in the past that he had to stop coaching because he was stressed.
Yeah, he was stressed out, plus he had some heart problem.
How long did he coach for?
Not that long, to be honest with you.
A couple years, right?
No, he coached AC Milan for a few years, but then
he coached the Azzurri, right?
He took the Italian national team, and then after that, he dropped everything. As soon as the Nazionale was over, he stopped coaching. I think he must have I don't know if he did have a tiny little stint in Parma, but I doubt it. I don't remember that. I could be confusing, but I don't think he did anything anymore. But Saki, after the national team experience, he got out. I mean, he got very close. We went to the penalty kick. You know, we witnessed over here firsthand. And Baresi, unfortunately, you know, I don't know if you guys remember, Baresi had a meniscus surgery. He came back 20 days after his surgery, or 18 days to come and play the final. This is how great Baresi was. Okay,
that's a player right there. Wow.
Wow. We got another funny question. From Maria again. She said, which player would you guys want to be quarantined with if you could choose one player, if you could be stuck with them, and which player would you not want to be quarantined with?
I'd probably, if I had to go first, I'd probably want to be quarantined with Balotelli. I feel like Balotelli's a load of fun, and you can never get tired of him. I feel like he always has something to do or a funny prank to do.
And who wouldn't you want to be quarantined with?
Someone boring. I don't know. That's a tough.
Come on, put somebody on the spot.
Gonna...
Come on, I know you got a name. You're just scared to say it.
No, I don't. I'm trying to think of a player that doesn't do anything, or I feel like that just goes home right after.
Like
Andreva. I probably wouldn't want to. I feel like Andreva just goes home, doesn't do anything, barely laughs.
Have you seen Andreva's?
He's been working out with his wife.
Jacked with his wife. They're real.
I have mine.
Go on.
Who is it?
I would want to go. What is it? Quarantine with Papu Gomez. The guy has a lot of fun dancing and he's singing and stuff, doing his live. And I wouldn't want to quarantine with Ronaldo. The guy would put me in fucking so much shape. I don't even know. I'll be coming out like a chiseled the Greek god. And
that's good though.
I wouldn't be able to eat. We wouldn't be able to do anything. So Cristiano Ronaldo, I'm sorry, I'm not quarantining with you.
Anto.
Hey, Cassano. You know, if you don't have fun with Cassano, there is nobody more funny with that than Cassano. I gotta tell you something. Number one, who would I want to be in quarantine with?
I know who you're gonna say.
But just tell me then. Maybe
is it Spalletti or Conte?
Oh, but it's not a player.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough.
I will say Conte. Conte was
no, what player?
Yeah, but Conte was a player right now, an actual player now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. He has to be an AC Milan player, or has to be
anybody.
No.
Anyone.
Okay, so you know, I don't even want to say I don't like it. I just don't like Skriniar. I mean, I don't know. The guy's he never smiles.
I like his Inter player. I like him as an Inter player too.
Okay. What else?
To be an Inter player, but he never smiles. I think the guy's too serious about it. You know, I don't feel like someone that is having, you know, he can actually have fun in real life. You know.
That's funny. That was very funny. How Skriniar just popped up in your mind.
He doesn't smile as a defender.
He doesn't smile. I would obviously choose to get quarantined with. I was stuck between either Pirlo or Del Piero.
We're not doing current?
Pirlo because he picked Cassano. Pirlo because like I feel like I would want to deep dive into his mind. Like I feel like if I'm quarantined with that guy, I will get some stuff out of him, even though he seems like very contained.
Pirlo is not going to say more than 5 words to you.
You're gonna be bored over
Maybe
there.
to you.
What
And not quarantined with. I feel like I wouldn't want to be quarantined with Balotelli. I think shit's gonna get crazy. He's gonna like light off a firework.
You're never gonna be bored though.
Yeah, sometimes I like to be bored.
Balotelli is gonna flip you around. You will not believe it. You're gonna
beat me up.
Flipping the flipper.
You're gonna have to chain him. You know, would be funny to be quarantined with too. Vieri.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we'll say, hey, shave like a bumper. Like a bumper. Okay.
That's funny. All right, we got another.
For you need to shave, and if you get a shave like a bumper.
We got another good question. I like this, and this one was actually on my mind yesterday as I was doing research for our interviews. I was diving deep into old interviews, and then you stumble upon highlights while you're looking. And I stumbled across the highlights. So this question was, who do you think is going to be the next Italian star and why? And since I posed the question, I'll give you guys a second to think. Mine is Zaniolo. And like I said, he somehow came up while I was searching with Cutrone and stuff. And I was just watching a video of him, and I saw the elegance that he has in his game. And there really is a beauty about it. He's a big
You mean the Italian national team star, Marco?
Say it again?
The Italian national team star? Because Zaniolo is actually a star right now. It doesn't have to be on the future. He's already a star.
I would consider Zaniolo not a star yet. I mean, it depends what you classify, but I think they mean like who's going to become like a symbol was my interpretation of it. And I think Zaniolo, for the physical characteristics he has, just how he looks as a character, and how technically skilled he is. For such a big player, he's really skilled, and I think he could go a long way with that. And he's super young. Pete, you got somebody in mind?
Well, the first one that comes is Tonali. I mean, he's adjusted to Serie A very, very well. Brescia's not necessarily having a great season, that bottom of the table, but you've seen what he's able to do, and he is, it's really hard to understand what exact position, and I think a lot of people said, because he looked like Pirlo, he would be a perfect regista. But I think during the season, we've seen him be more of a mezzala, box to box, and he has great technique, but also great physical ability, and the guy can also shoot, and I think he can be an all-around great midfielder for the future. And then obviously depends where he goes. If it's Juventus, Inter, Milan, Roma, Fiorentina, who knows?
About me, is that my turn?
Yep.
Yeah, go Anto.
I'll tell you what. Unfortunately, this guy plays for Inter, but I really like the way he plays. Okay, it's Barella. I like that guy. I used to follow him very carefully when he was in Cagliari. What a difference maker. That guy, he does a lot of dirty work, and he's got feet, he's got speed, he's got intelligence, he's got it all. The guy's a full package. The guy, Sensi, I haven't seen him much because he's been injured on and off, and I don't think I haven't seen him on the pitch. But Barella, oh my God. It's not a regista, don't get me wrong, but it's one of the cleanest players. I would say it's a refined, it's like Gattuso, he had no skills. He was like a bull everywhere trying to fight everybody. But this Barella, it's like Gattuso, all refined from the debris and the scraps, just like a perfect definition of a midfielder that is, it's an attacking midfielder, a defensive midfielder. He can do it all. He can do it all. You can plug Barella in any position on the team. He can do it all.
We have a Greek question actually that I just popped up. I don't want Mike to look because I want to try to pronounce the guy's name. And this is a very Peter and Mike question for multiple reasons.
Must be an intelligent question then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Peter's
Not
a Greek
very
name.
Intelligent question. He says, "What do you guys think about Tsimikas to
Tsimikas.
Inter?"
Yeah.
Michael, there's never been a more you moment on this podcast than this right
I
now.
gotta shine my spotlight.
Inter and Greek.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Tsitsipas or Tsimikas?
No.
Tsitsipas is a tennis player.
Yeah, Tsitsipas is a tennis
Is that what I
player.
said?
No, a little bit. There's this guy
My
that
bad.
plays for Olympiacos, left back, Kostas Tsimikas.
It's a left back. If it's left back, what the hell are we going to bring him over?
He's a left back, but he's
Yeah,
actually,
that's a classic Antonio dad joke right there.
I haven't watched a lot of Olympiacos games because of Serie A and stuff, taking up a lot of time. But I do watch a good amount, especially European games, Champions League, Europa League. And Tsimikas, this guy's like 23 years old. He's probably the best Greek talent right now. He's so good. He was playing well against Bayern Munich, playing well against Arsenal. This guy has no fear. Since like the last Greek player that I could see that was very promising was probably Manolas, was the last one from what I've seen. And this guy seems to be like the next guy. He knows how to dribble. He knows how to defend. He knows how to attack. Amazing crosses. And this guy's just fearless. He's so young and hungry. And Napoli and Inter actually linked to him right now. They wanted to try to get him in January, but Olympiacos denied it to keep him for the rest of the season. But I do think he's Serie A bound in the summer, and whoever gets him, I think, is going to be really lucky. He's so good. Whenever I see him, I've never seen a bad game from him.
Boys, we just got his agent on the line right here.
He's good. I'm telling you, he's good. He's very good.
Oh, Pete, do you know him at all?
I'm not too familiar with him, so I guess I have to do some research.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta take a look into him, but it could be a position that we would definitely look into. We need that. That's been a position since Roberto Carlos when he left Inter. Inter never really been able to get a solid left back.
You don't like
Zanetti, for the most part, filled that role, but he was a natural right-footed player. Asamoah, unfortunately, he's not, Jesus Christ. Let's be honest, or not even close. I mean, but we definitely need a left back. Asamoah's been injured; he's getting older, so a nice
left wing back would be interesting because he's very attacking too. So I'm very interested to see where he goes.
We have one last question that I'm seeing over here. It's for Antonio. And Marco says, Anto, if you became the owner of AC Milan, how would you and what would you do running the club?
Oh boy, that's a good question.
You all players from Bari.
Okay, I will start with the direzione tecnica. Definitely Maldini will be on my plans. That's number one. I will try to bring Ancelotti too into the picture. That's number two. And I will just have a few people scouting for talents. Actually, of course, I'm going to redo the team from scratch.
Anto, where are you putting these scouts though? Where are you going to put them? What cities or countries?
Let's see. I'm going to have a couple in Argentina, Brazil, and but the rest, I like to scout them all the talents that we have in Italy, because I believe that the youths, like we always said that, I think we have so much talent in Italy that we are wasting so much time and money looking for the perfect foreigner to join into or non-Italian. Put it this way, I should have said that word too. This king or queen that is going to come from, I don't know, any place else.
Greece.
At the end of the day, those people are getting paid so much money for nothing.
Wait, but you just lost your handout right there. That was a perfect pop-up for you to say Gasperini.
Oh, definitely. Well, Gasperini is a dream. Not just
You said Ancelotti.
but it's everybody's dream.
You said Ancelotti.
But Gasperini already has committed his life to Bergamo. Gasperini was offered so many different other coaching jobs, and he decided to stay in Bergamo.
Yeah, because he didn't want to go to Milan where they're gonna.
Yeah, right. He would be so lucky to come to AC Milan, especially if I'm running the team, because I'm going to give him full, just hey, you got it all. You don't have no question asked. You got it all. You take it you just make the team, and I give you 10 years to get them to give me 10 Champions League, and the guy's gonna get it done.
10 years for 10 Champions League.
You can't even get in for next year. How are you gonna have 10%?
Pete, you should be the last one talking, because you got the best coach on your hands. You didn't give him 3 weeks. You fired the coach. You fired the best coach.
Nah, I was now you're crazy. Best coach. First off, it was a different Inter back then, so I do agree that we didn't give him enough time. But then it just didn't work. He needed more experience. Atalanta maybe in Champions League. Now he has that extra experience that now he can maybe go to a bigger team. But when he was still with Genoa, and his team played well, yes, but he didn't have the experience to be able to manage certain top players. And it's a lot of times as a coach, it's not so much what you can do on the tactical board, but it's how you manage your players, star players especially. Allegri, for example, I think he's by far a great tactician, don't get me wrong, but he's a very good man manager, like Mourinho and like many others. Ancelotti is another one.
He's a stiff. That guy's a stiff. Let me tell you something. Allegri can only be coaching team like Juventus, where you have to be a soldier, like you're in the army. I said, this is where I want you to do. You cannot deviate. You cannot even dream. You cannot even you have to be a robot. For Allegri, you have to be, okay, hey, this is your tracks. I don't want you to get off the track. You get off the track a little bit, you get beat up. So you have to have coaches like they encourage, the fantasy player to put the fantasy and all their talent into the field. No strict rules. I said, I don't want you to go from here to here, or just if you go from here to there, you're going to be punished. You're going to be sitting on the bench. Allegri is one of those, army general. You don't need people like that. You just need somebody that is a lot more relaxed. I don't see Gasperini screaming and yelling. You see Gasperini nice. Look, Conte. Conte is like someone that even before the game started, he works out a sweat. The guy's a mess.
What about Gattuso?
Gattuso is right in between. Gattuso is little by little learning to be more of a motivator, but without making so much hand gesture or screaming and yelling. It's just
put his hands in his pocket. He's still yelling.
Yeah.
All right, I got two more things. And we could end. This is for you, Antonio, just to build off that. I was gonna add it in. So you said Ancelotti, and then you said Gasperini. If we're in your room, you're the owner of Milan. I'm sitting at your table right now. I got Ancelotti in front of me, and I got Gasperini in front of me. You have to pick one of them to run the club. Money is not an object. Who are you picking?
Well, I like Gasperini. Not because I don't like Ancelotti. If I have to really be choosing one of them, I'll take Gasperini.
Okay, respect. I appreciate you giving me an answer.
Mm-hmm.
I was scared. Okay, last thing that I have, and if you guys have any other topics or whatever, that's cool.
Yeah.
France Football released the highest paid coaches in the world. And the second that I saw this, I instantly thought about you, Antonio. Now, before we get into this is highest paid, not just salary by the club. I want to make this very clear for France Football. They are putting everything into account. How much the player makes every single year, sponsorships, endorsements, all this kind of stuff.
The
All that
player
stuff.
or the coach? Player or coach?
Coach. Okay. I don't know if you guys have a guess, but the top three is Diego Simeone, number one.
Guardiola?
No, Diego Simeone.
Yeah.
Simeone at $40 million a year.
Wow.
$40 million a year before taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, and this is the one I was waiting for. This is Antonio Conte at $30 million a year.
What a waste. What a waste. This money thrown into the garbage.
Number three is Pep Guardiola at $27 million.
Wow.
Number four is Klopp at 24. Mourinho, number 5 at 23 million.
Wow.
Zidane in fifth. I mean, they were tied. They were tied on 23 million. Then Valverde 19. Cannavaro, our boy Cannavaro, 14 million a year. And then Allegri at 13.5 million.
Gasperini probably 1.5 million. The guy doesn't play for money. The guy doesn't
He's nowhere on this list, Gasperini.
You know why? Because people with talents, they don't coach for money. Okay, just a bunch of losers. I mean, hey, listen, Simeone for me, not that he deserves 40 million, but he's one of the top.
That's a lot.
Yeah, talking about, you get so mad at Conte for jumping around. Simeone jumps around more than anybody.
Yeah, but Simeone, when he jumps around, he makes his jump count. Okay.
Was it jump scotch? What does it do?
Conte jumps like a stupid cricket or shrimp. He jumps from the frying pan. He goes into the fire. So all his jumping is for nothing. The guy makes people more nervous than anything else. Simeone, when you see him jumping, he jumps. Okay?
Was he hopscotch? Do you think he's hopscotch?
Simeone is a jumper. Okay?
And I'm a flipper.
You are a flipper. Conte, forget about it.
To be honest,
I hope you understood what I saw, what I told you right now, right?
we're still trying to decipher it.
Yeah.
Okay, so listen, you can be jumping and make things happen, or you could be jumping and make things worse. So the first one, the second one is okay.
Pete, what do you think about this list? Your buddy Conte, who obviously I don't want to remind you of the things that happened, knocked out of Champions League, not in first place in their first year. And I felt like a little bit you felt like maybe certain things. Do you think that he deserves to be the second highest paid coach in the world?
I mean, deserves is a questionable term.
Compared to every coach in the world, do you think he's the second best?
Listen, for what he's able to do, I agree. Yes. Mike, listen to me. Antonio Conte, the players that he has compared to the players that Simeone has, compared to the players that Pep Guardiola has, Klopp has, yes, what he's been able to do as a career, I believe he does deserve to be up in the top 5. He's number 2 right now, so be it. Zhang has the money they can spend. They're willing to spend. They want to get their guy, and I give credit to.
Whoa! Easy, Pete, easy. What did he do? He did nothing.
What did he do? He won with Juventus.
So far,
when they had nobody.
Wait.
He won with Chelsea the first year.
Whoa. So far, what has he done for Inter? He's out of the Champions League. It's number 3 or number 4 on the Italian Championship. He's probably not going to move forward on the UEFA League. The guy's a waste.
How is it a waste? You can't determine it based on 1 year. Klopp took how many years before he won a Champions League?
With all the
just said you wanted to give Gasperini 10 years.
But 10 Champions Leagues in 10
Listen
years.
to me. With all the players that this guy here has, it's...
What does he have? That is, you can say, oh, my God. Right now, we're creating the team.
He's got 2 national teams sitting on the bench and another 3 national teams on the field.
Yeah, but look at Juventus.
Yeah.
Juventus has a better team.
But Juventus is not getting the second high-paid coach. Sadi's not even in the top 20 over here.
Listen, the reason why they haven't got the second highest coach because they wanted Guardiola. Guardiola said no. If Guardiola was there, he would have been higher than Conte.
Listen,
That doesn't make sense, though.
If Guardiola is free, they're gonna sign Guardiola.
Who?
Juventus.
Listen.
But you're telling me that based off of what, and now I've always been a guy that likes Conte, but I like Conte to an extent. I think that in Europe he has his limitations, and I think that he does create excuses for himself and problems where there doesn't need to be. And I think sometimes he values too much the hard work than the good players. But having said that, 30 million for him, in my opinion, is pretty crazy. And to see him above some of these guys who have legitimately won in other places. And I understand your point that they've won with money behind them. And I get that. I think it's valid. But to me, 30 million for Conte is pretty crazy.
For someone that never invented anything, he copied Gasperini, actually, this guy here. And he actually doesn't even know how to copy, because copying, all you do, you take a nice piece of paper, like a transparent paper, and you trace. You trace around. The guys aren't even capable to trace. Maybe it's dyslexic. And maybe the guy can see anything. Maybe this guy's not even good. Like, when you're growing up like a young kid, you've been given a coloring book and they tell you, hey, with the color, stay inside the line. Don't get off the line. You've been given shapes and you have to just fill up the shapes with the color. These guys are not even capable to do that. So let me just tell you something. Conte is a waste. Okay? He might be a nice guy, but it's not deserving of the $30 million dollar that has been given. Okay, Pete? Okay. Nothing personal with you. That.
Oh, it's not my money.
Oh, I know it's not your money. That's not your money. Let me tell you something. Guardiola deserved. For me, Guardiola should be number one. I'll tell you the reasons why. And Gasperini may be number two. All right, let's put it this way. Let me tell you why I like Guardiola. I saw games of Barcelona played 10 years ago when Guardiola starting all of this tiki-taka stuff. It was, you're right, an horizontal game, left to right, left to right, left to right. And then between Xavi and Iniesta, they made everything happen. And Villa. So everything, all of a sudden, from the left to right to left to right to left, the ball goes inside over there. And the people that like frozen over there, either Messi scoring or Xavi scoring or Iniesta scoring or anybody could have scored in Barcelona. It was not just one player scoring all the goals. Number one. Number two, the tiki-taka that Barcelona, that was implemented in Barcelona by Guardiola. When you get to see Barcelona, Manchester City under the leadership of Guardiola, you see the way the tiki-taka has changed. It's no more left to right, left to right, left to right. It's no more that stuff. It's just more vertical. They do some minor left and right, but then all of a sudden, everybody coming into the middle, to the middle. So what does that tell you? That the guy, he has a system, and he just implements the system, and he adapted the system to the player that he has. Okay, so new players, same system, but different strategy. And I'm sure he uses a different strategy for every team that he's facing. This guy is not a stiff like Conte. Conte is this 3-5-2. It's always going to play the same nonsense, and it's so boring. But Guardiola and Gasperini, you see a little difference. You see things happening right there, changing on the spot right there. So look at that. Look what he's doing right now. So you can see immediately what's going on. So with this Conte, it's like you're watching the grass grow. Okay, boring. Right.
All right, guys. Anything else you guys got on your mind? Any topics? Anything that you've been thinking about?
No.
Oh, wait, I want to say a few things. We have friends over here. Okay, we have Joe Barone is one of our best friends over here. We, he's the captain of the Brooklyn. He used to be the president of the Brooklyn Italian. Okay. I'm actually happy to be part of the organization, part of the over 50 team. And, we're very happy that it's in Florence, not right now with the circumstances of the coronavirus and whatever is going on over there. And I want to remind everybody that Joe has got a very talented son. His name is Joey, like he's the junior. And he was picked up by Perugia, as everybody knows. And right now he's a little injured from what I understand. But maybe this kid here, I might have to make a few phone calls. I want him to come to AC Milan because they took Cutrone away from us right, Joe? You took Cutrone away from AC Milan, but I think I'm going to exploit your style to make him become a superstar playing for AC Milan.
I'm sure he'll like that for sure. Yeah, Joey is coming back from injury too. We're actually talking to him the other day.
Check your phone, Antonio. Check your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah? Why?
He sent us a picture.
Just check it. Keep on.
And yeah, we actually, like you said, he was at Perugia. Do you see the picture or not?
Let me see. Hold on.
He was gonna do it.
What do you send me?
On WhatsApp. Check WhatsApp.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's Joey. Here you go.
Yeah,
That's
he's
Joey.
wearing a culture shirt.
Oh, look at
over
that.
there.
He's wearing the culture shirt.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy. Oh, doesn't Joey looks like Dybala?
That's what everybody
everyone
said.
says that.
Everybody commented that.
This guy's like the Dybala. He's Dybala number 2. Maybe he's going to be just as good or better than Dybala. Who knows?
Ballon number 1.
So, hey, Joey, if you're watching the podcast, I mean, I'm watching you on the exercise bike over here. If you watch the podcast, I'm going to tell you something. Tell your father that what he did with Cutrone, he took it away from AC. I mean, not from AC Milan. It was on what? West Ham over there.
Wolves. Yeah.
Wolves.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you know how much I was against for AC Milan to give up on Cutrone. But, you know, I want you to be.
I like how he's talking to the
To be
phone.
playing
He's
about
talking
AC
to him.
Milan. Okay, I'm sure they. Hey, Marco, do you know that if which fan is that? I'm sure it's a Juventus fan. If his father is a Juventus fan,
know.
it better be right.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
I know his brother Sal's a Milan fan, but I don't know what
great.
Joey is.
So if his brother Sal is a Milan fan, then maybe Joey is a Milan fan. So
I'm not sure.
I have to talk to someone on AC Milan. Joey, we'll get you in over there, okay? And I like your shirt, man. I like your shirt. So hey,
Anything
Joe,
else?
No, Joe, if you listen to the podcast, I said we're pulling for you, okay? We just we know how hard you're working. I know that you did a big fundraising for all the the people in trouble over there with the coronavirus. You're a nice guy, actually one of the best guy that moved in Italy. I mean, we miss you over here in the United States, but we want you to call us when you come back over here because we need to get together and we'll get you on the podcast. We'd like to know from you one-on-one what do you think about so many different things. Okay.
Pete, anything on your mind?
No, I'm just, like I said, day to day, I hope everybody stays safe, does the right precautions. If you have to go out, that you take care and be careful. And, hopefully the Serie A season and soccer and life really can get back to normal. That's what counts.
I agree. And I just want to issue a couple thank yous real quick. We didn't get to say it. I mean, we did say it a couple times, but again, for everybody that watches the podcast, the first podcast since then, the money that we raised for the Cannavaro fundraiser was absolutely incredible. We never thought we were going to reach anything close to that. And Cannavaro was extremely grateful. And we wouldn't have all these opportunities to speak with him, to speak with all the other players and have all these doors open if it wasn't for you guys who helped donate and who helped build this community. And the one thing he told me was, he kept talking about being a team and being united in this moment. And he was really appreciative to see the IFTV community. So what he told us, he couldn't believe how united we were to help do this. So thank you to all of you who helped donate. Even if you didn't, buy a shirt directly, if you help spread the news, if you help share it, if you help bring some awareness to it.
Just the support in general, like Marco was saying, without you guys, we wouldn't be nothing. We're just here, having the platform. You guys are the one that's liking and sharing and supporting. So like you guys are the number one fan. That's why we always do this podcast. We always post content. That's why Antonio always wants to be on a podcast because you guys are number one. Right, Anto?
Number 2, because Gasperini is number 1.
That's right.
Listen, to finish, that when you're watching the podcast, you're rating with 5 stars, number 1. Number 2, for all the young kids that they're dating with a girlfriend. So I know it's going to be rough right now. You're going to really kissing each other, do all of that little nonsense. But focus on your homework. Keep watching the podcast or listen to the podcast while you're doing the homework. Just listen to your parents. Don't go out. Don't think that you're too young to catch the coronavirus. And even if you catch the coronavirus, you're gonna beat the coronavirus. I gotta tell you something. I've been hearing news that even young people are affected. So don't get a little fresh and don't get too much ahead of yourself. Number 1. Number 2, listen to your parents. Okay, if you are under 20 or under 19, whatever. I don't even know if you guys are listening anyway. So listen to your parents. And believe it or not, me that I'm the grown up over here, I've been forced to be listening to my son. So instead of telling my son what to do, now it's my son telling me and my wife what to do. We are under siege over here.
Good.
So
He's right.
My wife,
He's
she said,
right.
we are under house arrest. So apparently he's the smart one, and me and my wife with the dummies over here. So keep up with good work, stay safe, okay? And wash your hands, okay? Wash your hands all the time. Me, I wash my hands close to 15, 20 times a day. I have no more skin left. Look at this. I'm washing my bones.
Oh, man. Wow.
Okay? Keep washing your hands. Take a shower. If you go out, take all your clothes, throw them on the washer. You know, those particles, I said, they call it the invisible enemy. It's true. It's invisible. Nobody knows where it is. The only way that we can do, we can just try to fight, just imagining where it can be settling. Maybe it's on your clothes, maybe it's on your shoes, maybe it's on your, who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow,
Good.
And hopefully we can do this again. This was actually pretty fun. You guys knew how to work this, so it was easier than we thought, and it was pretty fun. Even though we're not all here, we still managed to make it work.
You know what? Listen, this is a shout out to all the mothers and to all the wives, especially my wife. She has to put up with me. She must be a saint.
That's a very hard job.
Somebody like me.
They should change the San Nicola to your wife's name.
My wife, listen, let me tell you something about my wife. My wife is a tough cookie. My wife, she doesn't, she looks nice. She's nice, but she's not an easy person. So for her to be able to put up with somebody like me, I give her a big shout out because
We all do.
You all do? Okay.
We all do.
I'm not an easy person, but I think my wife, little by little, she gets to know, she's getting to understand why I come to the podcast, why I spend my time with a bunch of bastards like you.
Oh, God.
And, you know, at the end, she's getting to appreciate that this thing here is nothing but benefiting the people that are like soccer, the sport, and the young kids. Because, you know, not only we talk about sports, we give guidance to the young kids. In other words, do nice, be nice, listen to your parents, and do the homework, do well at school, be careful, study for your midterm, for your final, and all the stuff, and be respectful of the people older than you and the younger people as well.
The funniest and best thing I think I heard all quarantine was, Antonio, you calling us the other day and saying, all the times that I've complained about coming to the studio, I would stay there for 5 days straight if it meant I got out of here. Good. All right, guys.
Yeah, that was
Bro,
awesome.
and also my last thank you is to you, Antonio, and to Peter. Stay safe. Thank you for coming on. I know the people really appreciate it. They've been really wanting to hear from everybody. So I think this is a nice thing.
All right.
Our
Good
pleasure.
luck, guys.
Cool. All right, guys.
Ciao, guys.
We'll
All
see
right,
you.
ciao,
Stay
guys.
safe.
Ciao.
Ciao, guys.
Stay safe.